everybody. Welcome back. I know some of you have been here with us since yesterday. Are you tired of us yet? Well, welcome everybody. I appreciate you being here. And we're going to discuss reports today. Something that I feel may get overlooked sometimes because it's just something else in the system. But overall, it can be very helpful and help streamline your business and finding information quickly. So we're really going to go through all the reports that are available in LiveRez, all the reports that are available in LiveTrust, and we're also going to talk about what reports are your simple go-to reports to make sure you have everything in line. Now, in addition to those simple reports, there will be things that you might find, beneficial for your business. So we'll talk about how to customize reports as well. And then we'll have some questions, time for questions. So reports do provide a great way to get a snapshot via our quick view function. And just the FYI, I'm just going to go over the information that we're going to show you in the system so you can see where all the information is. So they do provide a quick view function of all the moving parts in your LiveRez and LiveTrust system. Reports have several filters and sort capabilities that allow you to get to the information that matters to you most. All LiveRez and LiveTrust reports can be printed, and some can be exported to Excel. There are some LiveTrust reports that can be exported to PDF as well, and CVS, and we'll talk about what that is. Some of our reports offer the function to create and save custom reports with filters that you choose, making the reporting easy. So we will go over how to create a customized report, more specifically an inflow-outflow report that can, pretty much highlight the items that you find most important to you or are beneficial to you. So let's talk about the reports that are in LiveRez. LiveRez has several reports that are in that system, and they're actually broken up into categories. Some of the categories available in that system are reservation reports, which include the reservationist report. We have accounting reports, we have business reports, we have occupancy reports, we have live score reports. So we're going to talk about every single one of those reports and what they can do for you. So this is a reservationist report where I've highlighted are areas that you can click and sort. You also have the ability to click on the transaction ID to go back to the particular transaction to see that. This is one of our most customizable reports because it provides you with a lot of filters, a lot of options, a lot of ways to sort. So reservationist report will hold a lot of information such as guest name, date, time, payment, everything that a reservationist would need to know for that particular report. Now, we also have what you call a owner reservation report. It's set up similar to a reservationist report, but it's focused on owner reservations. So same concept, but owner reservations only, all right? Now, there are some reports that are in LiveRez that we'll discuss that only apply to someone who's still using the legacy system. We'll identify those as well. But here are 3 other reports that are available in there. You have your hold report. This gives you insight on active, expired, and canceled holds on those that did not convert into transactions. So for instance, you have a partner that calls and say, hey, can you hold that reservation for me or hold that property for me? And they did not follow through. This gives you a list of people who've asked for that hold, and that way you can maybe reach out to them and then turn that into a transaction. Revenue for you, right? Travel insurance report for all of your reservations that have travel insurance on it. Great way to see those reservations, highlighted that are including the travel insurance. And then your cleaning report. Now, mind you, the cleaning report is a part of our old property care management system. We do have our live manager where you're able to get a lot of reporting in there, in regards to that. But the cleaning report does provide you information about cleaning. Again, that's legacy. But if you're using Breezeway, Live Manager, or any other one of those, this is not going to help you, okay? All right, so let's talk about some of the accounting reports that are available in LiveRez. So the following reports, these reports you might find extremely helpful when ensuring checks and balances are in a line. You can use these reports to help with your business to get a better idea of what direction you'd like to go into. So sales cycle report. This is one that a lot of our partners mention and like to use. Sales cycle report allows you to track your revenue and expense and drive your profitability and make informed actions or decisions. It provides a complete view of all the rental transactions for a period of time and it includes information about payments, guests, properties, and all fees. The option filter allows you to view your channel taxes as well. And the option filter, I'll actually point it out. This is the one that she was talking about earlier. Using that will help you highlight your channel taxes. Go ahead, Amy.
Why are some things options and some things extra options?
It all depends on the report, right? Because some of the reports don't have that information available in there, so you'll see certain filters or certain options available on certain reports.
Sorry, I'm not saying my question clearly. See how, like, the third box, it says bedroom cleaning fees, extra options, and then the second column, it says mid-stay cleaning fees, and then the options that you pointed to?
Mm-hmm.
So the extra options are those 3 lines where you can add miscellaneous something?
That we don't recommend that you use.
Thank you. Okay,
Because there's no way to kind of categorize it, it's just really general, so that's what that's for. All right, great question. All right, so the next report is payments report, pretty straightforward, all payments. Payments, it provides guest name, property, reservation, credit card, payment type. So if you want to see if a reservation has a payment, had a payment, owes a payment, this is your go-to report. Anything to do with payments, this is going to be the one that you use, all right? Location tax report. So your location tax report, again, if you are using LiveTrust, you're not using this, okay? If you're using LiveTrust, this is not for you, right? This is for our legacy users. Mm-hmm.
Were the first 2 accounting reports that you talked about, sales cycle report and payments reports, are those good even if you're using LiveTrust, or are those also not good?
What would you,
Those are fine if you're using LiveTrust as long as you're not using them for tax reporting.
Okay, got it.
thank you. So again, this report is for those who are using the legacy system, and it will provide you location tax reporting information. This report only includes and calculates transactions that have a sales tax greater than 0 and a tax rate greater than 0. So transactions without that criteria will not be included in this report. All right. Now, due to the nature of this report as well, the gross may not match the sales cycle report based on whether or not you're using tax authorities and things of that nature. All right, sales cycle itemized tax report. This is a complete view of all your rental transactions for a specified time. You can see all the detail you need in each line item of your reservation and easily track taxes collected. Now, mind you, again, as Dina said, if you're using LiveTrust, there are some other ways, and what we're gonna have Dina do is go over some of the reports that she uses, that she finds the most helpful in dealing with taxes and everything of that nature. Some of the other reports that are in here are the forecasted revenue report, the commission report, and the owner statement report. Now, the forecasted revenue report, probably you've never gone in there, right? So basically what this does is track your performance to ensure you're meeting projections and tackle any issues that you might have. So given details in sight on active, expired, canceled holds, and those that did not convert into transaction, it provides a summary on daily and aggregated occupancy and revenue for each property. So you can kind of forecast to see, oh, well, maybe this property is not, as booked as much, or this one is really booked, or whatever it might be, so you can have an idea of how that works. Mm-hmm.
Is that different than if I just do a sales cycle report with forward dates?
I've never used the forecasted revenue report myself.
Okay.
When I'm thinking of it, I'm looking at like, oh, I wonder if partners could use this for situations where they're looking out in the future and things are booking up really fast. And
Right.
Like, I need to raise my prices.
Right.
Or so that to make those good informed business decisions as you're looking out at what's coming is probably a little clearer. The sales cycle's ginormous.
Right.
Yeah. So this might make it
More specific, yes, for sure.
simple way to look at that.
Definitely, perfect, Dana, thank you. The commission report, with this report, you can track your commissions for your reservations. And then the last one, the owner statement report, again, if you're not using LiveTrust, you can utilize the owner statement report to get easy and concise reporting for your owner statements. Okay. The next section of LiveRez reporting is called business reporting. This is solely focused on business, things that you could do to improve your business, and kind of, seeing ways of approaching things before you get there. So the items here, we have a couple of what I like to call fast and easy one-click reporting. They're pretty, straightforward. You have your owners list. It's going to give you a list of all of your owners. Your customer mailing list is really important. because this you can use for campaigns, reaching out to your guests, previous guests, and things of that nature. Website request mailing list. So these are the individuals who go on your site and click on that contact us. This is going to give you a list of those people. This is a great opportunity to reach out if you have any promotions, if you use any type of SendGrid or MailChimp or anything like that to send out your information. This would be a great list to get those potential guests from. Yeah.
So basically, the customer mailing list of people who are booked.
Correct. Or
And the
been.
website requests are people who have asked me questions, and then we don't know if they.
Exactly.
So they could be on both lists.
They could be.
If I combine them, and then, okay.
Yep. And then the property audit report. So let me show you what that looks like. The property audit report basically gives you a list of all of your properties, and it helps you determine all the primary information on there is updated. So as you can see, in the coral color areas, that means information is missing. Now, mind you, you may not have information to put in those areas, and that's perfectly fine, but it will highlight anything that's missing. If it's missing an address, if it's missing a phone number, if it's missing details about the beds, this will highlight all of that about all of your properties. All right?
How often should people look at that detail?
How often, Dina asked, how often should you look at the property audit report? If it's not something on your properties that you change often, it's not something you have to go to often. If you've set your properties, there aren't many changes. Now, mind you, if you're adding properties on a regular basis, this would definitely be very helpful. All right, if you're adding properties, I would check this often to see if every property has everything that it needs. Okay, good question. All right, this one, you probably have never gone into this report, occupancy report. So this is another business report, and this report allows you, reports in this section are for your house owners, customers, and potential customer information. Also in this area reporting, you're going to have audit reports as well in this area. So the occupancy report itself is going to give you information on who's staying, how long they're staying, where they're staying, all of that information. So if this is someone who's staying for a long time, it gives you an opportunity to maybe offer extended stay or, things of that nature. It gives you a streamlined report of all the occupants who are currently in your property or at your facilities. The occupied report. So there's an occupancy report and an occupied report. So the occupied report tells you where they're staying, and it gives you a calendar view. We also have a calendar view in this particular report. So you have the report like this where it gives you how long, where, name, dates, and all of that good stuff, but then you also have this report that gives it to you in a calendar form. It gives you the same information, but in a calendar form showing you where it's blocked out on your calendar. So depending on you and your preference, either one of these will work, but they will both provide you with the same information. All right. This is the occupancy summary. So basically it's giving you how much people were staying or guests were in your facilities in months. So for instance, it says, availability or booked. It kind of, ranges that out so you can then determine, okay, this area or this particular property is having more or less. And this will also give you a great summary of what's available and the categories of your properties. Again, some of these you may never have to go into, right? It's going to be dependent on what you're wanting to do and how you're wanting to move your business forward. These business reports are purely helping the business, like little things that you can utilize to help your business, reaching out to your past guests, potential guests, and things of that nature. All right, so live score reports. Although if you go into your tools in LiveRez and go to live score, you'll have a summary area of your live score reporting. But this particular report found in LiveRez gives you complete details of all the live score surveys that were taken for your properties. So this will give you a great idea of their feedback in one spot instead of just overviews in the live score area. Again, the live score summary area is found under Tools, Live Score, but this one is found under LiveRez, Reports, Live Score Reports, one of the last reports on the list. All right. Any questions about the LiveRez reports? because we're going to talk about LiveTrust reports next. All right. So let's talk about LiveTrust reporting. So now that we've discussed LiveRez reporting, we're going to talk about LiveTrust reporting, which I'm pretty sure most of you came here for, trying to understand the better usage of the LiveTrust reporting. So we're going to talk about the reports that are available there. The great thing about LiveTrust reporting, even LiveRez, you do have the capabilities of printing, but LiveTrust actually gives you exporting to Excel, so does LiveRez, but it also allows you to print and print to PDF, which might be helpful to attach to, emails and documents of that nature. CSV, it also gives you the ability to export to CSV. What is CSV? So XLS is an Excel spreadsheet. CSV is a plain text format. This basically separates your values by commas and removes any hyperlinks or any, details or formatting in that cell. So it's giving you the raw, just information without any formatting of those fields that are in your Excel spreadsheet. Most people like Excel. All right, the next company snapshot. So this is the first section of information. There's two areas of reporting in LiveTrust. This is the company snapshot. So you have your official balance sheet, you have the cash register, you have your liability detail report, your manager unpaid bills, your owner balance, your vendor unpaid bills, and your tax authority unpaid bills. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory. They provide you with, that information. But we do kind of categorize these reports. So your balance sheet is used for auditing and basic monthly reporting. This is also a corresponding report for each of your stakeholders. Your inflow-outflow is used for all inflows and outflows into stakeholder accounts. Your liability detail report is used to make sure funds have gone to the correct stakeholders, and your unpaid bills and credits used to verify any vendors that still need to be paid out. Now, we do have a manager unpaid and a vendor unpaid bill, which we'll see in a moment. So the balance sheet, you can run this at least at the end of every month. It ensures all your accounts are balanced, and it explains any negatives you might have on your in your account. Your inflow-outflow, which we're going to do, this is a customized report, which would be really helpful. We're going to show you how to create customized reports and save them. But this gives you all the ins and outs of your LiveTrust. It's really helpful. And this is one of Dina's favorite reports. Most often used report. Liability detail, another one of her favorites. Liability detail report used to ensure funds have gone to the correct stakeholders should be cleared out based on whether or not departure date has passed. Some examples would be security deposits, unmapped items, balance dues, overcharges, any holding of funds in regards to like gift certificates or cancellation credits. You'll be able to find all of those items in your liability detail report. As I mentioned, we have 3 unpaid bill reporting. We have one for managers, we have one for vendors, and we have one for tax authorities. Makes it very simple. Whichever one you want to, determine who's unpaid, we have a report for that particular stakeholder. There are 2 additional LiveTrust reports. If you are an individual who utilizes checks, we have the check register. This is at the bottom of the LiveTrust system. This report shows check details such as the number, whether or not it has cleared, any reference information for a given period of time. You also have your owner distributions. This should be used after processing bill payments or disbursements to owners for a month. It can be used in correspondence with your ACH transfer program, as it does provide a list of owner names and payouts for a given time period.
So I'm sorry. The check register report shows like vendor checks that we would have written out of the trust account that haven't been cashed yet?
All checks.
All checks.
So would owner checks be included in the check register? Okay, so basically,
As long as you queued a check and printed it out of the system.
okay, so the owner report is just specific to tell me about whether or not the owners are getting a check, what they're doing. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
All right. Save reports. Some save reports that are in there: ACH transfers, monthly disbursement, bill payments, balance sheets. As you guys can see, you have the ability to save reports for easy access and also customize them to show exactly what you need. So let's talk about how do we customize a report. Yes, I know. All right, Dina, you ready?
Any questions on the LiveTrust report so far? They do have a good selection. We're gonna let Christina get set up because I'm gonna have her drive so we could show you some examples, but they do have a good selection of canned reports. You're not gonna break anything by going in there and running reports. Changing your filters, try it, you know? You might find something in the canned report section that you love that I'm not gonna talk about today because when you find what you like, that's what you use. So I'll talk about what I use, what works for us, and what we reference often. Everyone should be running their liability detail report and clearing that if you have LiveTrust. Yes, sir.
So, a story, small story. So we use X-Packs.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we set a 30 or 60-day window for final payment,
Mhm.
and it shows up on the main screen on the right-hand side as balance due.
Okay.
However, Nextpacks does not show up. If they came through Verbo or HomeAway, they don't show up there.
On your liability detail report?
Not on the liability detail report, on the main screen.
Interesting.
It's on the main screen
In LiveRez.
in LiveRez,
Yep.
right? I got my bookings here, I
Yep.
got my cancellations, I got my balance due.
Right.
So now I have to go in through liability detail reports to look for these. So now we have Airbnb direct integration. Okay, those also show up as having a liability
Mhm.
until the guest leaves. So what I'm forced to do now is to go through every reservation that has a balance due or a liability and see, is it an Airbnb or is it one from Verbo, HomeAway, or Google that hasn't yet paid? Because they won't show up on the front page.
Okay.
Airbnb I'm not worried about, because they always get the money.
Yep.
But the Verbo, Google, HomeAway won't show on the front page, and I have to go through hundreds of listings,
Oh,
on the liability detail.
that's a
report,
pain
right?
point. I hear you.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
It was kind of like how yesterday I found the one that had stayed 2 days ago in my LDR.
Right.
Yeah.
And paid.
Right.
Because I can't tell, so I have to go through every one that has a liability and say, is this really one that has a liability, or is it Airbnb? I was told I could run a report to show me what those are without having.
So you don't have to go through all of them.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. I'll find out that report. So Eric is saying that he, on his Airbnb reservations, they don't clear from the balance due until after the guest has departed on the home screen of LiveRez. But right? Did I have it right so far?
Yeah, so
But the next packs ones, in the next packs ones, he has to go into them to see if that guest has paid or not, right? You have to click into it.
that's right.
So you're having to go back between the liability detail report and LiveTrust and all of those reservations and review hundreds of reservations weekly, monthly, daily,
Only if we want to get paid, yes.
if they want to make sure that they're paid. And he's looking for a report that makes his life a lot easier. Go ahead.
Can you not just make it, those channels, my channel is 100% booking. You have to pay. Instead of doing a
Yeah, I
two
guess
payment. If
I
they're
could
booking
do
on
that.
my website, they have that option to do a second payment. But if it's a channel, it's 100% do it booking.
Good recommendation.
Do you use Nextpacks? Do you use LiveList?
Go in there.
Okay,
Yeah, I
because I'm having a problem with LiveList.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it would work because I don't use it the same way, but it is how I track my Airbnbs, apart from my regular reservations, is the sales cycle report. But then click down into integrations only and check it in arrivals and see what that filters out for you to see what still hasn't been paid or hasn't been done yet.
So he would run a report and compare, instead of clicking into the reservations. he would
Right.
sales
Yeah,
cycle
I get
report.
the
That's a good
report,
idea.
and I can filter that in Excel and see what's not paid yet, and then just go for those.
Keep the names on both reports.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Or do you
Yep.
auto process your, payments?
We do, but sometimes cards get declined.
Yeah, we get it in email, then we get cards.
We don't get emails when our cards get declined.
I think we get them
Maybe.
from,
It's not working out, they're not working out.
Great. There's some great options. I like the sales cycle report. You could filter that so you just see your integrated transactions first, so that narrows it down a lot for you. That probably would be a really good option
Yeah.
for you.
I was told it was a report, but I wasn't told which report, so that's really good. Sales cycle report.
Sales cycle report.
Integrations only.
Yeah.
Airbnb's fine.
Yeah.
It's just when you go through the liability detail report, you'll see the liability exists, but then you have to.
You do.
You have to copy and paste, and then go back in and say, okay, well, that says Airbnb, okay, that was good, you know.
Yep. It's a live link. The transaction number is a live link now from LiveTrust on the liability detail report. So you don't have to copy and paste anymore.
As of when,
It's a fairly new feature and it's fantastic.
okay, good, 'cause
Yeah.
I can copy and paste it, so I'll give it a shot.
I copied and pasted for a long time too, so I love this. It's one of my new favorite things.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, absolutely. Good suggestions. Any other questions on the LiveTrust reports that we've gone over so far? Right, so everybody, I was saying everybody should be clearing their liability detail report. So that's just a report in general you should be looking at and clearing at least once a week is my recommendation. Yep.
Yeah, just how we got into this a couple of years ago was the real estate commission came in and audited our liability detail report. I don't know if they do that in your state or your area, but we weren't clearing it out. And that's how we got into checking it. So one, it's good to get paid, and second is you don't want to get in trouble with the real estate commission.
What state do you live in, Eric?
Alabama.
Alabama. I think we're going to start seeing more regulations in trust accounting across the board. So, you want to be ready for when it does come to your state for just that reason. Yeah, try to keep it all clean. I also frequently use the balance sheet report. If you're in Arizona and you have to do a three-way reconciliation report for the real estate commission monthly, there's like detail balance ledgers for what is owed to each stakeholder that you can save with that reconciliation report, so you don't have to list each one on that report, just as an FYI. And so I do use those, the balance sheet and that detailed report for any of my Arizona people. If you are in Arizona and you haven't been doing that report, let me know and I'll get that report number for you, because you should have that saved in your office in case they walk in and want to audit. And then my favorite report, and the one I use absolutely the most, is the inflow-outflow report. And I'm doing that because I can create any report for any stakeholder with whatever information I want based on my filters. So I use it frequently for tax authorities. Like when I'm doing my tax disbursements, I use the inflow-outflow report. Owner disbursement reports. When my property managers call me and they say, hey, this owner really wants like a detailed income statement for the whole entire year, how do I do that? Or can you do this for me? I'm running an inflow-outflow report for just that owner and then making it look super nice on my Excel. I like Excel. On my Excel report that I download and then update so that it makes sense to the owners. And it will help them understand that number that's on their 1099. Because sometimes that's confusing when you look at the owner statement and it's different from what they were paid, right? They don't understand that it's their rental income. They're not accounting for the expenses. So I use the inflow-outflow report for that. What else? You can run the inflow-outflow report with certain filters to verify like bills. If you have a lot of vendor bills that you enter, LiveTrust does not give you an error like, hey, this invoice was already entered. So I like to run an inflow-outflow report that's customized for previous vendor bills to just verify that those bills haven't been posted already before I post them. I don't want to pay a bill twice. I don't want to charge an owner twice. So I like the inflow-outflow report for all of those reasons. Very, very helpful across the board. So Christina's going to get it pulled up here and we'll create one together. I'll show you how I customize them and all the filtered options that you have. But again, you're not going to break it. Go in there and play with your inflow-outflow report, play with all of the filters, look at every option you have, and figure out what works for you and then save it, because then all those filters are saved, and when you want to run it again, you can simply just go to your saved report and change the dates, and so that you have the same report over and over. So find what you love and then save it for yourself to save yourself time later. All right, so in LiveTrust, you will go to Reports and then go to Custom. And from the drop-down where it says Report Type, you're going to choose Inflow and Outflow. All right, so here's the detail level. We do want the transaction. I don't want a summary. I've never run this with a summary or the summary level. I want the transaction level detail. Play with that too. I don't know if there's some benefit to the summary level. There probably is, or there wouldn't be an option here. I personally just haven't used it. So I like transaction level. Optional columns. I absolutely 100% encourage you guys to run this report with every column. So if you'll move all of those columns over, every single column on the right the first time, and I'll show you why. All right, so you'll choose your date range that you're looking for. And then here under accounts, this is where you're going to choose your stakeholder, and you can choose an entire group of stakeholders or one individual stakeholder. So here we might choose just tax authorities, and I only want to see the default tax authorities. So you click on the all, which is a link, and I get to choose which tax authority I want to see here. And so that gives you like the specific breakdown of what's happening for that one particular stakeholder. Yep. Yeah.
I don't understand the blue sentence that comes up above that. The inflow and outflow report type allows either assets or liabilities. I don't understand that sentence.
Yeah, it's not going to let me choose my cash account and a stakeholder at the same time.
Okay,
The cash account's my asset, and my stakeholders are my liabilities.
thank you.
Yep. All right, so now we have the rest of these filters. If you want to click on assignment rules, just so we can look and see what that is. So these are your assignment rules. You can choose any of these assignment rules if they're what you're looking for in particular. If this is something that makes sense to you, I need to know how much or what's been happening in my hot tub fees, choose hot tub fees. And so that won't work because it's a tax authority. There's probably nothing in there. But just as an example, if this is what you're looking for, you can get really specific with your filters so that when it goes to Excel, you don't have to spend a lot of time. Okay, and let's cancel. Let's look at our line items. So here's our line items that we map and are important to us. Maybe we want to run this report so it only includes a few of these line items. You know, maybe we want to see you know, our pet fee and our pool heat and our hot tub fees and nothing else for this particular report that we're running. So these are your actual line items. If you want to cancel that.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
how are assignment rules different than line items? When I opened my drop-down, they just both had a bunch of things, so it was not.
That look the same. So assignment rules happen within the mapping for your line items. So it's something that's happening inside of the line item mapping. If you're reassigning something or have assignment rules for something, the line items are the actual line items themselves. Okay. Ledger entry types. This is where you choose what type of transaction, if you want to filter. I know that there's an owner distribution report in here, but guess what I use for my owner distribution report? An inflow or flow report. And I do the report for just the day I pay my owners. And I use this ledger type to show me only the owner disbursements and bill payments. So I capture both, but I'm not going to see anything else that's happening to the owner that day. I'm only going to see those two things. Categories. So you can set up this so your owner wants to know what their rental income was for the last 6 months. You come in here, pick that one specific owner, the date range that you want, and choose rental income or whatever you call your rental income account, your category. And you could choose just that one thing, that rental revenue, and then run the report, and that's all it's going to show. No, thank you. And here is where you could be specific about a property. So if you want just one specific property, so you have one owner, you already chose the owner from your stakeholders, but that owner has 17 properties, here's where you get to be specific about what property you want to run the report for. Maybe you have some kind of discrepancy on your tax report after you've run this already, and you want to come in here and run all of your tax authorities for one specific property. Here's how you would do that. All right, so you can choose to filter by ID if you would like, and when you click on that, you have some options. So you could filter by the transaction number. You could filter by a specific transaction number if you put that in there. You can filter by payment, revenue, whatever option there that you want. So when it creates the report, that's the order it's going to be in, is based on this information. And then you can automatically say download to Excel, or you can review it first and then go to Excel, which is what we're going to do. So we're just going to generate this report. And so if you remember, that first thing I did was have us select every column. And I want you to do this so that you can decide what columns are important to you. So this is what your Excel spreadsheet's going to look like. You have your list of columns across the top, and now you can see what data is included in each column, which ones are important to you. Make it a note of those. Go back to options, and then move everything back over to the left and choose just those columns, or just those columns that were important. So you might choose account name, property, transaction, and you could do like Christina and select and move, or you can double click on them and they move back. Maybe taxable amount, description, let's do description too. And save. And now when I run the report, I'm just going to get the information that I'm looking for the month from my default tax authority. Great, or not, I think we ran this from June until now. So this, maybe you need it for a long period of time. So this is what your report looks like, and if I exported it to Excel, it would look just like this, and then you can manipulate it the way that you need with formulas that you might need to sort out what tax authorities these belong in. Like right now we have a bunch of transactions sitting in a default tax authority, but we need to put them in the correct buckets. This is the Excel spreadsheet I'm going to use to do that. Any questions on customizing reports? A lot of filter items. This is powerful. You figure out what's important to you and then use this to get that information. Especially when those owners call. I do hear that a lot. Like, oh my gosh, my owner wants to know how much money they made on pet fees last year. How do I do that? It's a couple filter clicks and then generate a report and you got the answer quickly. The report will show you debits and credits. So you want to get the sum of all the debits, the sum of all the credits, and do the math to subtract the debits from the credits to get your totals. So you do get the actual accounting, all of the ins and outs. Any questions on that? LiveTrust reporting? Were there any LiveTrust reports that you guys had hopes for, dreams? Like, can you please tell me how to? And I might, or I might not.
Ready? Make sure you remember all of your reports and what they're for. There's a prize at the end. Okay, let's go. All right, take out your cell phone, laptop, so you need to log into the site that I'm going to show you.
I think that editing being